Hello everyone, Natred here doing another fight review. Today we have something a little bit different. We're going to be looking at a 1v2 test being undertaken by this fella here in the shades with the flail, this guy right here. For the EBF, the Elite Blood Falcons, and just kind of some background of what I know about the EBF. I know that they're one of the notable larger fighting companies out of the East. And since I've kind of come to know about Belagarth culture and everything, know that they're one of the known for being one of the better overall units as far as skill level goes. Some pretty good accolades for field fighting, 4-on-4 tournaments, things like that. And it looks like this is a practice test to join them. And it's going to be 2-on-1. Not sure what metrics we're trying to hit. Not sure what metrics we're looking for. I know sometimes there's a point system on like getting in limbs can count as points and deaths count for more. Real quickly, this is taken from the Zephyrus Talon YouTube channel. If you like this, check out his YouTube. He has tons of uploads, all sorts of Belagarth practice. And so let's get into it. Interested to take a look at this? It's going to be the first time we've ever seen some
Alright, we'll call Leon. And then once the
1v2 action.
I will start that as well. Ink, you ready? Fighters ready? Leon.
I believe this is Ink. We may have just reviewed him. So real quickly, some things that I'm looking at and looking for. I'm looking at this movement, and what I'm looking for is these kinds of circular moves that force people to line up against him and fight him one at a time. Because a lot of this is just about staying alive long enough to make opportunities happen like that. You start picking up legs, you start evening out the disparity. And we're seeing here, if you see a cat, it's your own imagination, I promise.
Hard for me to herald the test, so our peanut gallery is pseudo heralding.
I know, Kitty. It's a big deal. Yeah, I think one of the real essences of fighting down a man is being able to have really active footwork and make those good pickup there. Make those circular movements happen, make those lineups happen for your opponents, while having some very conservative and clever striking work. Because you don't want to be throwing yourself out of position. You don't want to be opening yourself up for any slops. You want to be nice and safe, because a wound for you is the world, and a wound against fighting against two people doesn't even make it even.
No. Go.
Hand.
For the video's sake, there's a rock that those two people are standing on, and they're standing on it for safety.
Almost lost the arm there.
Keep going. There's no real boundary, technically.
I can believe the light on the arm for that shot. And again, it's really hard to say just from a video, and I've never met these people, but it looks like they've chosen two people who see, and that's kind of looking like they've chosen two people who they know aren't at least way far above this guy's skill level. Just kind of looking at garb and gear selection from people he's fighting. And this is the kind of circular movement, making lines happen that I was talking about. Getting this good movement around the edge, and then all of a sudden this trailing fighter is way out of position. Really, one of the things that can happen to will prevent this is if this fighter here that's getting hit in the back and killed was savvy enough to take a leftward step. Like shuffle left right here. As maybe a product of wearing sunglasses, but I try to make a point of when I have a teammate to be really aware of my spacing when we're fighting a 1v2, because I know it's all us if we can just play off of each other well. And so I would have probably been paying better attention to where this man is at and not getting lost in the sauce trying to pick a fight here and realizing like, oh, there's like a 5 or 6 foot gap between me and my teammate. And now, you know, a trade is a win. This is almost all gravy for Ink here, if this is Ink.
Leo Rose, will you take this? You're going to film this fight. I'm going to set up to be the last person. So just make sure they're both in front of us.
These are my gloves.
Hard. Green. Green.
Almost losing the arm there. And then just kind of want to point out here, this is such a horror show of a kit to fight against as a leg shieldman. Like, okay, you have a long flail and you have a long down stick. Like, at this point, I would almost drop the shield if I were Ink. So it looks like the test is partially 1v2 and partially 1-on-1. Here on the right, our flow fighter. This is Talon himself, who I've had a chance to fight one time. And he pretty liberally beat the crap out of me. I believe he just got his knighthood in Belagarth and cross games a little bit. Super solid fella.
Dead. Damn.
Damn, agreed.
Dead. Damn.
Yeah. Stepping back there, then all of a sudden not stepping back, kind of stuttering, and boom. Yep, it's just right there. Yeah. And it's probably, like, also being triggered off of, look at how high this hand is here, and it's probably where you kind of want to be as a flail fighter, but, yeah.
Dead. Damn.
Yep.
Ink,
Out
you ready?
of water. It's a horror show.
Fighters ready?
Okay, back to the 1v2s. That's what we came here to see.
I'm gonna step that way and hit his shoulder.
Looks like I can hear some chatter out of the two. It's good to hear.
Sorry.
Okay, good honor. Yeah, I talk a lot about having a good guard as a shield fighter. This is one of the things that can be a product of having a bad guard. Sword low, try for the cheeky stab. It doesn't work, and now you just can't really defend yourself, especially against a flail, and especially when you're fighting up a man, you really want to also be conservative and not overextend. Usually the first person to make a mistake, I mean, you don't want to give this guy any chance to even things out, and you really don't want to be so out of position that you're likely to get killed and all of a sudden make what was supposed to be a pretty easy fight all of a sudden a fair fight. If that sword had been nice and high and just staying in a neutral position, waiting for something to happen instead of trying the cheeky stab, we wouldn't have this.
Set up.
Yeah.
Or regroup, or whatever the proper term is for that shit.
I don't know either, Talon.
I believe other fighters are looking to take the field, so we're gonna move over here. All right, I'll cut it at this point. Second attempt, wave 2, go.
Okay, so right now what I'm seeing is this is kind of a an interesting spot that happens in a lot of 2v1s, where you have the one backpedaling and kind of getting hemmed in from either side. And so I don't really know what the exact best way is to get out of this situation. Usually I'm a big fatty, I go slow. I will just try to like stand and trade in a position like this, but I think you have to almost maybe like throw a spin shot, throw something that allows you to break out and move laterally. And let's see how Ink kind of handles this, because they're not going to run him all the way to the trees. Okay, so we have, and if you watched Raven's video about fighting down a man, then all of a sudden we have Ink here kind of identify the hero and the coward, and our coward is our garbless fella, and Ink just gives him a little bit of motion with his flail. He stutters back a little bit, all of a sudden, a little bit of threaten, makes this guy stutter back, and now we have an angle. We're moving out. Picked up an arm along with it. Wasn't the cleanest thing in the world. Like there's a world where that was a leg that the round shield through. There was a world where our heater shield hit that cross. And now like A lot of movement out of R2 here. Like, you have a guy down an arm. What I'm just really not seeing is a lot of coordination between these two people. Like, you can talk. You can talk with your opponent looking at you right here. It doesn't really matter. Like, you know, they're going to have to be able to think so fast to simultaneously process what they need to be doing, what you're already doing, what you're talking about, what you're going to do. Talking about and coordinating your movements here is going to do way more for you than him. Like, you can even just say things like, hey, chump for a leg, chump for a leg. Like, you know, hey guy, you know, you down an arm, just literally just leap for a leg shot. Like, sack yourself for a leg and get something going. Instead, we get them split. We get the boys split here. Yeah, a classic mistake I see of shield fighters. Round shield has this big shield and is all of a sudden having to fight outside of it because movement happened, and he was already having to move his shield just to get it out of the way to strike. That's why I don't like using giant shields anymore. Moves the shield over to start throwing low, and now it's just way out of position and can't come back in time. And cleans it up. Now the boss battle. The respect, picking up the long stick. Yep, kind of just the same TikTok we saw before. Yeah, it's hard, man. I make a mistake a lot when I fight against flow fighters, when I try to throw at the same time they throw, and this happens to me a lot. Against lefties, too, just in general, and Talon's a natural lefty. You try to throw at the same time, you're either not in time, or you trade your death for their arm. I think it's so hard to change up your mental timing to really, like, make sure you block this shot, and then throw. But stay in the chamber until you block this first shot from Talon. He's just kind of wibbed when he should have wubbed. He pizza'd when he should have French fried.
Tell me when you're ready. Ready? All right, wave 1, go.
See, good movement. Good movement by both parties here. I love this. Moving forward, side by side as a twofer. Then all of a sudden, boom, step out, and he keeps moving. And this forces a good movement out of our one here, out of Ink, to start moving left, like really in a really flat direction, not really circling quite as much. So I'm sure he's gonna start circling around Round Shield here in a second. And now Round Shield has to be savvy to realize that there is this opening gap between him and his boy. And he doesn't really need to do much movement forwards or to his right. Just he needs to move kind of a half beat slower than he would with his steps because he wants to stay in coordination with this guy, and this guy in the back is going to kind of be chasing. Okay, Ink doesn't move out, decides to step back in. Now, theoretically here, this is a good position for the two. They are both within striking distance. They are both beginning to strike. We may have just lost an arm, though, to the flail. Nope, Ink just a little bit too fast. Scoots out. Yeah. This is probably one of the most common ways that you end up in a when they're up a man. You get one guy legged, and now you got to figure it out. I think this is where you throw shots at the legged guy to open up the standing guy, and again, moving around this direction to constantly be making the guy that's standing trail. Yeah, I would not be surprised to see. Oh, what did we hit there? I mean, yeah, buddy. Oops. Huge shield, hand all the way outside of it, wrist outside of it, against a flail. You hate to see it. And now I got this 1v1, and it's dire.
Green.
Well,
Ink retains her wounds. You two reset.
so if Ink's retaining
feel
and
good,
they
huh?
don't pick this up,
The strap just busted on it.
Yeah, I do that intentionally so I can drop it quicker.
Oh, okay. That's new. New to me.
alright.
All right, wave 2. Go.
If they don't pick this up, then we got some major issues. Yeah, crush in, crush in, crush in. Get on him. Yep, there we go.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Impressive, though. Very impressive from Ink. Even fighting against two guys who aren't as good as you are, or even, like, slightly worse, it's a hell of a lot of work. And, yeah, good show. Good fights. I hope that, you know, whatever metric he's supposed to hit, he hit there. And I think that if I were him and I was looking to improve my stats from this man, all you gotta do is grind out bouts with Talon. Figure out what he's doing to you. And, you know, like, if you coin flip with Talon there, all of a sudden, if you get to the point where you're coin flipping with Talon, all of a sudden you're going to have, like, the chance to almost nearly flawless victory that whole chain we just watched. So, good fights.